I read something once that I live by. It said, in life, you will always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. And so I see even cancer as a gift, as a God-ordained opportunity.
It is a kind of test for you to improve
It's a
yourself.
test, right? No test, no testimony. Yes.
Wow.
And so you have to be willing to step up and handle it. Anybody can have faith, David. If the bills are paid, if they have their health, the marriage is working out fine, the children acting like they have good sense, they have a lot of money in the bank, a lot
Everything
of
is perfect.
investment. Anybody can have faith under those circumstances. The true challenge of faith is when life knocks on the door. The true challenge when you lose your health, or something happens to someone you care about, or you lose your wealth, or some tragedy happens to you. All of us over the next year will experience at least 3 tragedies. We will experience it personally or someone we care about. Charles Udall said in life, he said, things will happen around you and things will happen to you. But the only things that really count are the things that happen in you. And that's where,
Wow,
that's
that.
our domain. That's where we have the control.
Yeah, we choose the answer.
Yes, we did too. And we choose how we're going to respond to this. Will I allow this to get the best of me? Will I allow this to stop me? Am I going to surrender to this? Will I give myself a pass? Will I wimp out on myself? That's always a choice.
I love that. In the speech, just before you said a sentence that I love, can you repeat it about the fact that when it's hard?
If you do what is easy.
Yeah, I love that.
Giving yourself a pass, giving yourself permission to stop. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. I didn't do what I'm doing now for 14 years because it was hard to make the radical change in my approach, my dress, my learning the language of corporate America, gaining access, developing myself an intellectual resource where corporations would reach over people with years of experience, PhDs and MBAs, and I have no experience and no credentials, and be able to compete with them. It was hard, but we can do hard. All of us have moments in our lives when things have been thrust upon us and we had to do hard. So if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. And so don't give yourself a pass. Don't run away from hard because you can do hard. And through that, you discover a part of yourself that you would not know otherwise.
Yeah, you are building your power when you have challenges and when it's hard.
Yes, those things only happen through growth experiences, through challenges. If you go to the gym to work out and you don't feel any discomfort the next day, here's what we know. You haven't done anything. And so you got to challenge yourself. Yeah. And you're going to get hurt. You know, Viktor Frankl calls it unavoidable suffering. Life is full of pain and disappointment. It's a part of the process.
And we are proud of ourselves when we overcome something.
When we overcome things, we discover things about ourselves. No test, no testimony. No guts, no glory.
Yeah.
And I was doing a broadcast once, and a guy was coming up, and he had crutches. He was coming up to be interviewed by me, and he missed a step, and he fell. It was a very embarrassing moment. And I went down to help him get up, and he said, "Don't feel sorry for me or be embarrassed." He said, "It goes with being a paraplegic. I fall all the time." And so we fall all the time in life. We make mistakes all the time in life.
Yeah.
You know, there's no life without mistakes. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing badly. It's worth doing right if you know how to do it. But if you don't know how to do it, it's worth doing badly until you get it right. We learn things during the tough times. That's where we really learn things. That's where we begin to discover things about ourselves. Adversity introduces you to yourself, that are part of yourself that you would never know otherwise when things are going real good for you. And so what we have to help people to understand is to maintain a spirit of optimism in spite of their circumstances, to give them hope. Why? Because when there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. So my goal is training 100,000 voices of hope, who will do three things. Help give people hope. That's number one. Number two, teach them methods that will help them to develop the desire to reinvent themselves so that they are not replaced by an app or outsourcing, because this is a time where you have to continuously reinvent yourself to stay ahead of technology and cheap labor around the world. That's number two. Continuing to work on yourself and growing and developing. And the third thing is to build communities, collaborative, achievement-driven cultures, supportive cultures that'll help you to get to the next level. Have a group we call ourselves Cancer Conquerors. And so one goose can fly 75% further in formation with other geese than it could ever fly by itself. So if you got 100,000 voices giving people hope, that's number one. Number two, encouraging them to develop their capacity, their skill set. There's no shortage of opportunity. There's a shortage of capacity to take advantage of the opportunities that are available in the global economy. Yeah. And encouraging people to create communities of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. We can accomplish anything. That you're never too young to learn, you're never too young to teach, and you're never too old to learn. I'm learning from young people like yourself, because you are my future, a future that I will perhaps never see. And so by being open, I remember when I graduated from high school, we had a theme that said, you never find out how much you know until you find out how little you know. The moment you think you know, you've lost it. You've lost it. You don't know. Life is something to be experienced. You get a glimpse. You peak to peak, as Robert Schuller would say. You P-E-A-K, so you can P-E-E-K. You peak to peak and know there's more there.
Great.
Yeah, Socrates says a man's reach is to supersede his grasp, or what are the heavens for?
You have a lot of quotes. Do you advise to have a lot of quotes to grow?
You know what? I just went downstairs to the hotel and asked him, what is my room number? I don't know where these quotes come from. I study a lot. When I first started out, I disciplined myself to learn about 3 quotes a day. Somebody taped me one time. I gave a lecture at a Manpower conference with Bishop T.D. Jakes, and they said I did over 215 quotes, and I never repeated myself. So I love quotes. It's a passion of mine, and so they come up when they come up at the appropriate time.
And you have your own quote?
I have my own, and I study a lot of other individuals. And once I hear it, I repeat it to myself and reuse it in conversation. When I'm training speakers, I tell them the best speakers are the best listeners, to listen to things that touch your heart and then use it in conversation over and over again, and then use it on stage when you're speaking to an audience.
Yeah, not only you and your thought, but also the people who are...
Everybody that's around you.
Great. And do you advise to people to write their own quote?
I think that yes, you want to write, but sometimes you are saying them and you can't hear them because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. And so when I tell people, if you're speaking, to always record yourself, because there are things that's going to come up, inspiration, revelations you will receive. You say, whoa, where did that
it was
come
great.
from? That's right, yes. And so you want to record that.
I record everything.
Yes, that's good. That's a very good habit.
I have a weird question for you. Maybe the first time you have this question. According to you, how can we become a loser? Do you have advice?
I think that the key to being a loser,
very important,
is not loving and appreciating yourself.
Okay.
And allowing what other people think of you become more important to you than what you think of yourself.
Wow. It's a new advice. Great key.
Yeah. That we were born to do something. You're here to do a work. The 2 most important moments in our lives, it's been said, the day that we're born and the day that we realize why we were born. And if you don't know, if you want to live a life of misery, don't try and find out. But if you want to live a life that has meaning and value and a sense of direction, spend as much time as you possibly can to answer the question, why am I here? And not.
So you wonder yourself a lot of time.
Yes, and don't ask what is the meaning of life. Ask what is the meaning of my life? What am I supposed to do? What is this work that I was chosen, that God saw something in you that you were chosen 1 out of 400 million sperm. He saw something in David. What was it that he saw? He saw something in Judah. He saw something in Les. There was something that caused us to be here. And I believe there's a work for us to do. That there's something that if we don't do it, that the world will be deprived. And finding out what that something is, that element, the element is when what you love to do and what you were born to do come together that will allow you to show up in life in a bigger way.